Hey there, welcome back to Yo Knows, and today we have a special guest, my homie Gunny Hoyt. He's new to the commercial real estate game, but far from new when it comes to leadership, hustle, and getting results. From running Sam's Clubs to now leasing and selling spaces at Freedom Financial Real Estate, we're talking career glow ups, real estate goals, and why every deal starts with people. Gunny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ilona.
You're welcome. So give us a little bit of background on what you did before commercial real estate and what brought you to commercial real estate.
Yeah, so I spent 10 years with Sam's Club as in management. I started as an assistant manager and then worked my way up to become a club manager.
Okay.
I ran 4 different clubs, 3 of which were in Arkansas, Texarkana, Fort Smith, and Little Rock.
Okay.
And then I was fortunate enough to get to come home and run the University Drive location most recently.
Oh, wow.
So from the age of 25 to now I'm 32, I was managing stores, and I moved 7 times with them, and it was a tremendous career, and I was very fortunate to, get to lead at the level that I did.
That's amazing. Talk about emerging young leaders.
I would say that when you look at young leaders, they've got to be very open to feedback, and they've got to be willing to learn about people that they're leading.
Okay.
I think everyone's going to surprise you. Everyone learns differently, and everyone communicates differently.
That's the big part.
And so you've got to be able to listen. You got to be able to understand, but then you've also got to be able to provide feedback that will ultimately change behaviors.
Right.
Because typically that's what you're looking to do with feedback, and I mean that as maybe when you're trying to help somebody change what they're doing, but also encouragement. And that's one thing I'm learning from my current mentor, Doug McCullough.
Yeah.
The way that he gives positive feedback and encouragement is just incredible. And even when it's constructive criticism, you can say, he makes you feel good about it.
Yeah.
And it really comes off in a way that is just so impressive. So I would say those are some keys. But as a young leader, you just got to be willing to be receptive and learn.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very challenging.
I mean, the skills that you just named off, they just are great when it comes to commercial real estate.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it's going to translate. I think in any
Yeah.
business, people are always at the forefront.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think when you look at my experience with Sam's Club, a lot of what I did is, as a general manager, would be to go in and remodel the stores. And we would
Okay.
do those remodels while the facility was operating.
Oh, wow.
And so you had to service the members, but then you were also managing a remodel project, which obviously translate to retail through a construction and a build-out standpoint, but also when you tie all of that together, being able to understand operations is really, really key when you're looking at commercial real estate.
Man, you just hit on something that is an amazing skill set to have. You already have that innate ability to come in and comprehend the build-out.
The build-outs are important. I think it always
Yeah.
starts with a vision, and as an operator, when you're partnering with an owner or an operator, whether it's a franchise or any type of business, really, and you're able to see the vision that they have and help walk them through how to, achieve that or execute their goals. They really love that piece. And so that's one thing where you can partner with your clients. The vision is always key, and once you understand that, it makes everything a lot easier. And so when they feel understood, that helps a lot.
You know, it's amazing. I can't help but smile because I can always tell those of us that have been influenced by Doug because we understand that the client is key, and we understand it's a partnership,
Absolutely.
and we understand it's not about selling real estate.
Doug is an incredible individual. I'll say this about our whole team here on the brokerage side of Freedom. When you look at Brenda Conville, John Roberts, obviously
Yeah.
incredibly impressive,
Yeah.
and Doug McCullough, great team. Could not be surrounded by better people to learn from as a whole, and to come in externally into the industry, it's been fantastic. But when you look at Doug and being able to be personally mentored by him, I don't think I could have a better experience and to be more fortunate.
I am so excited for you. I know you're going to do big things just from the experience that you're bringing to the table already. Like things that some of us have to learn. I mean, everyone has their own niche, but yours is extremely special. I can't wait to watch you grow in this industry.
Retail is diverse, and I think it's going to translate well into real estate. And again, working for Freedom is it's an amazing group all the way
Yeah.
through. It's an amazing company, and I'm just very fortunate.
Oh man, I'm excited. But let's get to some of these questions.
Yes, ma'am.
And we kind of talked about it already because I'm just that good.
For sure.
So, what inspired you to finally take the leap into commercial real estate after such a successful run in retail management? And how did you know it was the right time?
Well, I knew it was the right time because I kind of had reached, I wouldn't say a plateau,
Okay.
but I really enjoy challenges. And the challenge for me with Sam's Club was to learn such a large business
Oh yeah.
very quickly in a leadership role without a lot of experience. And then it became a challenge because retail is just challenging and it's always changing. And you're managing a lot of people and you're managing, with Sam's Club, a giant facility. And so the challenge changed from how do I learn this and how do I execute to the challenge is just, it's a workload.
Yeah.
And I wasn't maybe fulfilled in that way anymore.
Oh.
Also something that, I've always struggled with is that work-life balance.
Okay.
And which is also, a challenge, or it can be in retail management. But ultimately, I knew what type of company Freedom is. And where it started with Torch, and it turned into Starfish Holdings. And my father has worked at Torch for almost 20 years now. And I've seen what the ESOP model,
Okay.
the employee stock plan, has done for my family personally. And I knew the culture here was right. And
Okay.
so I think that all kind of led me to make what was a tough decision because Sam's Club's an incredible company and they blessed me. But when I looked at where I'd be working and who I'd be working with,
Okay.
that decision was the right one, I feel like.
Man, how tough was it to walk away from that 9-to-5 paycheck to this instability of feast and famine?
Well, I would say that each of those can be variable. Nine to five in retail.
It's not really 9 to 5.
I would have loved 9 to 5 in retail. You're as an operator of a business, it's whatever you need to do to make it work.
Yeah.
And when you look at the challenges of COVID, and then when you're
Yeah.
changing facilities quite often to go in there and get results quickly, you're doing whatever it takes. And so that translation over to what we have here at Freedom, I would say, is night and day.
Okay.
Freedom. The great thing about commercial is after 5 o'clock, most business owners, are done, and so having a weekend and then having plans after work has been amazing for
Okay.
me. So that part has been great. And then what was the second part of your question?
The feast or famine.
The
How do you
feast or
deal with
famine.
the feast or
Well,
famine?
that's another part where I'm very blessed with the model that we have here at Freedom. It allows for a collaborative environment, but ultimately, you've got to achieve results. And I think it's challenging when you're first getting into real estate in general, especially commercial real estate. What I've been told is that the first 2 years are challenging.
Man, yeah.
And so having the support of the team here at Freedom is just such a blessing. And then to be able to learn from somebody like Doug, where you talk about getting your feet wet
Yeah.
very quickly,
Yeah.
it's just been an amazing experience. I can't speak to being with the right group of people
Right.
as a key to surviving. that
That's
feast or famine.
amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah, that's amazing because there's really no famine because you're surrounded by a team that understands and helps you build that continuous pipeline and structure your business. I think that's where a lot of agents, commercial or real residential struggle is creating that structure so that we know how to have that consistent pipeline and then budget the money once we get paid.
I've always been very fortunate in my career with Sam's Club. I had, just an amazing mentor in Steven Johnson, who's a market manager with Walmart now. But to have somebody like Doug to just watch and try to emulate,
Yeah.
and like you said, structure. of what we have here at Freedom, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, yeah, you are. So do you have a specialty niche product that you like to sell?
So obviously, I've got a ton of background in retail, and then a decent amount in build outs, and from a project construction standpoint. So I would say that that's where I can help a lot of our clients. But I've been able to get experience already in every area of commercial real estate by, again, just working with the right group.
Yeah.
And so I would say that we don't necessarily have a specialty at this point. It's,
Okay.
but Doug's extremely savvy on the investment side, and so I think I'm going to be able to hopefully be very well rounded for our clients, and just continue to branch.
I know you will. I always reference Doug's quote because I had never heard it before. If the only tool you have in your tool belt is a hammer.
Everything looks like a nail. Yeah. Yep. That's a great quote.
Every problem
Yep.
looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of covered this, but what do you bring to the table with your experience at Sam's Clubs that other agents don't?
Well, I became a general manager at Sam's Club at 25. And when you're a leader at that age, at that scale, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
And that's not always fun. And I will tell you that a lot of the, expertise I have came through, some struggles.
Gotcha.
So I've been humbled early on. And then to, change industries, that was a tough process in itself.
Okay.
And so while I have had a lot of success, it hasn't been easy by any means.
I can imagine.
And so, you move 7 times with a company, you reach, where you wanted to be in the ladder, and then you get there and all of a sudden it becomes unfulfilling.
Yeah.
So I think having some of that success and then also being humbled, and then being open to learning
Yeah.
a new industry, that's all going to be key. But I think, again, being able to partner with our clients and see things from an operator mindset is going to be critical. And that's going to be something that I need to lean on as I progress.
I can imagine you have a lot of creativity and imagination because of your experience with repositioning buildings. So you would I can imagine you would be a great agent that could find some great deals because you're creative with the build out and understanding how to reposition a property. And now you found this, deal that another agent probably would have passed up.
Yeah, one of the cool things about what we would do with Sam's Clubs when we would go in and remodel a property is we would do it in phases. And so you'd have to move the merchandise out of the way, do the construction, and then move the merchandise back and do the same thing in multiple phases around the store. And so, yeah, you had to be very creative. And I think it has prepared me well for certain aspects of this career.
Yeah.
And so a lot of experience I'm fortunate to have.
Yeah. You're gonna, man, talk about there's no competition at the top, there's all collaboration, but man, talk about, your colleagues and just having to step up your game when you kind of see what everyone brings to the table. All of our different skill sets. And because we do have different skill sets, we're not in competition, with one another, and we can collaborate. But man, I know you're going to be a powerhouse.
You talk about competition. Something that always strikes me is we were challenged in Little Rock when Costco came in with Sam's Club, and the CEO of Costco actually came and visited my store, and he was walking around by himself. And I just took it upon myself to come over and talk to him. I said, hey, we were, interested that y'all were moving into town, you could say.
Interested.
But it hasn't, taken quite the hit that we thought it would. And his response to me is always, I've always thought about it. He said, this is America, and there's enough opportunity out there for all of us. And you look at when giant corporations are looking at it that way.
Exactly.
People like yourself and me, we need to be learning from each other and helping each other because especially in a market like Huntsville, there's plenty out there.
Exactly. I agree. So tell me how you're sticking your toes in the water of all property sectors, industrial, retail, office, land, investment. I mean, there's so many things to do, sales, hospitality, back and forth after just a year. Like, give us, how has that been?
So I had no idea how much can go into some of these deals. And again, partnering with a mentor like Doug, and then being able to have people like Brenda and John Roberts to lean on for advice, but just being exposed
Yeah.
to the business at the level that they're at, that's helping me dip my toe into each of those things, and they've just been incredible with the level of support. Can't say enough about the team here.
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing. I want to close out a little bit on, is there something in particular that you like to talk about, special, maybe a special project or a special type of client that you would love to assist?
So I would love to assist any client that wants to come our way, of course. But I think right now, you obviously want to generate success. You want to provide value.
Yeah.
And I've been able to work on a few retail projects, a couple restaurants. And that's something that obviously I've got expertise in. But, right now I'm trying to learn as much as possible. And with the team that we have here at Freedom, I'm suited to help anyone.
Yeah.
And so I've got the people from a support standpoint to lean on. And I think, we're able to meet any need.
I love it. Any project you're ready, because it's all about the team. It's
Absolutely.
all about the team, and it sounds like you have an amazing team here at Freedom Financial.
We're very, very lucky, or I am, and I think the whole team is. When you look at our beautiful office, we're here in South Huntsville, which is where I grew up. It's a special place, it's a special company, and I
Yeah.
think any client's gonna be really happy with any services we provide.
Yeah. Well, I want to give you a special thanks for arranging us to shoot here at Freedom Financial. So you guys have been my event sponsor. So thank you so much for putting that into play.
We're lucky to have you here, and we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, well, you guys, I want to give a big shout out to you, Gunny, for keeping it 100 and showing us how skills from one lane can set you up for success in another. You guys, tap in next time on Yo Knows, and until then, stay curious, stay bold, and continue to build Huntsville. We'll see you in the streets.